It's the George Plaster Show. 30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown. And it's a shame it's taken this long to get an introduction for this Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer, Kelly Holcomb, along with young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is, how do we describe this? I would call today cool, not horrible, gonna get better. Let me look at the forecast since Kelly thinks I'm a weatherman. 75% chance of rain tomorrow, 51. But then Saturday, 63. Sunday and Monday, 70 degrees. Not all bad. Not all bad. Okay. We welcome all of you in. As you can tell in the backdrop, we're at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. And a lot going on out here. A lot of excitement here because obviously the people that work here are employees of the Predators. And they're going after number 7 in a row tonight against Minnesota. I'll be there. Hope you will. Let's check in with Kelly Holcomb in Murfreesboro. Kelly, how are you?
I'm great now that I got the weather report. I can rest easy now.
You can plan out your week, huh?
Yes.
Yes. Well, isn't that special?
Great. You missed your calling.
You know, Kelly, I used to do, it was funny because when I was in high school, what they would always show, you're trying to get out of school on snow. And it always seemed like if you could get that low to dip into the Gulf, and then you could get all that Canadian cold air, and the two would meet right around Battleground Academy, and damn, we're not going to school. What a shame.
Yeah, I can remember those snowbird days with Bill Hall. Just couldn't wait. Yeah, he would always tell us, and I could not wait. I mean, as a kid, but now since I lived up north and I had to live in there, if I never really saw snow again, I would be okay with it.
Yeah. By the way, Bill Hall was one of the all-time good guys. I got to know him first when I was in high school. I did an internship at Channel 4. I thought Rudy Kalis at the time hated me, and he had every right to. And instead, he's turned out to be one of my closest broadcast friends. It's amazing. Let's see.
Rudy.
BGA also got out of school for flooding. Oh, I remember that. 1975. Whoever that person is, Billy, put that up there. I've never been so happy to see so damn much rain.
It's awesome.
Oh, I remember it. And right about the time it happened, was the song "Roll Back Water, Keep on Rolling, Mississippi."
Yeah.
Remember? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very appropriate. Okay.
Billy doesn't remember that.
No, he doesn't even know that the streets have no names.
No, he doesn't. Do you know who Larry Bird is, Billy?
Yes, I know who Larry Bird is.
I just wondered.
Gracious.
How about Magic?
I know who Magic
Okay,
is.
that's progress.
I don't know these lyrics from the 1940s that you bring up, though.
The Doobie Brothers? Roll back.
Grow up, Billy.
Good Lord.
I mean, look it up.
I got to side with Kelly on this. Good Lord.
I mean, I've heard of that lyric, but you're bringing up the other one you said.
What do you mean?
You told me to go look up, that song last week. I forget which one it was.
The streets have no names?
Yes.
Did you?
That one I didn't know. And no, I didn't look it up.
Thanks.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink,
Exactly.
obviously.
I mean, how do you expect to ever advance in the world?
I mean, experience something new, Billy. How about that?
Okay, hold on. Rollback water, right? Wasn't it
Don't
rollback
ask
water?
me. It's rowback. I don't know. Who knows? Kelly, you
Well,
should know.
James, nah, I don't
Well,
get
it
into
wouldn't
the
be the
details of
first
that.
time. It wouldn't be the first time that I've taken words in a song and twisted it however I wanted
Correct.
to say it.
Everybody in the United States and other countries take every song and butcher it before you know it.
That's true.
Do you have an update
I do.
in our future?
How about?
Is there anything good in it?
Well,
Hey, I
Dalton
got an
Knecht.
update for you. George really stunk it up last night. That's the update. 1 for 5 ain't very good, Podge.
1 for 4.
So as it was one and
4.
1 and 4. It sucked.
1
Okay,
and
let's
4.
be honest. And I was looking at it this morning. I was like, oh God, Kelly is going to roast me.
Because he was writing it down yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think Kelly really cares about that particular promotion.
No, if you would have gone 5-0,
he wouldn't give a damn one way or the other. But he loves watching me fail.
I do like it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with the viewers out there. I enjoy it when George falls flat on his face, and last night he did.
So okay, Don says it's old black water. Keep on rolling, Mississippi Moon. Won't you keep on shining on me?
So you screwed it up.
Oh yeah, but I mean, mine sounds fairly close.
I'd say.
Instead of old, I went rollback water. Whatever works. Right. Update.
Did y'all watch
item number 1?
Dalton Knecht last night?
Yeah.
That dude is unbelievable.
Oh, he is a stud muffin.
39 points. He's now got 6 30-point games this year, and he just outscored Auburn 25-21 over the final 12 minutes of the game. Yeah. He single-handedly beat Auburn in the last 12 minutes of that game.
We're going to talk to Ron Bargatze today at 3 o'clock about that delicate balance of, 39, he was awesome. But it also felt a little bit like the others sort of just said, you're the hoss, take over. And can that really work every night of the NCAA tournament? Because they want to win it all.
Yeah.
And certain nights they look like they can, and there have been a couple of nights that they don't look like they can get out of the first round.
No. Yeah, I mean, Vescovy and Ziegler, I think, combined for, 4 points. But the fact that they won, despite that, I think is noteworthy. I mean, they've now won 12 straight home games against top 25 teams. That's the longest home winning streak against top 25 teams in SEC history. So them at home, Tennessee's a different animal, like a lot of teams. Can they go on the road Saturday night in Tuscaloosa, where they will be juiced up?
What do you think the line will be on that game?
I don't know. I think it'll be Alabama 3 at
maybe
least.
Close to a pick-em.
Yeah, maybe 2, creep down.
Only Vegas knows for sure. And they're sitting out there at Industrial Boulevard, Kelly, trying to figure that number out as we speak.
Did you used to work out there, George? Is that how you're so in tune to this stuff?
No, but I will say this. Why do I know? Because rented a car one time in Vegas and went to Dodger Stadium. And the way, if I remember correctly, you got to get away from the Strip, which is just congestion city, and the road behind it that got you to the interstate was Industrial Boulevard. Thanks so much for your attention.
Well, speaking of Vegas, the odds for the 4th number 1 seed, Tennessee is creeping up. Arizona -110, Tennessee +125, right behind those odds right now via Bet Online. So
now wait a minute, give me the 3 or 4 teams.
Okay, so for this fourth number 1 seed, Arizona -110 to get it, Tennessee +125, North Carolina +170. But if Tennessee wins Saturday, that'll likely bump them ahead of Arizona for that last number 1 seed. So this Saturday is the brawl for it all. I mean, for both teams, for the SEC, first place is on the line.
Is Marquette anywhere in that?
Marquette would be. They weren't listed. I saw this from a tweet, but I would assume Marquette would be that kind of that 4th team there.
Other than UConn smashing Marquette a couple of weeks ago,
yep.
Nobody in their right mind wants to play Marquette.
That's a good one. They've got Tyler Kolek, good guard for them.
Good little point guard.
Yeah, James on YouTube says Pearl will go deeper in the tournament than Barnes.
Who knows?
That's an interesting.
Here's the thing, though: the pressure to not be regular season Rick has never been as intense as it will be this March.
And there's going to be a game, whether it's Sweet 16, maybe even round of 32, where they've got to get past that mental hurdle.
You don't know what that means. There's a comment. Put it up there.
Marquette should be punished because Bo Ellis dunked.
Okay, in the 1974 Mideast Regional in Tuscaloosa, I was there. I snuck out of school. My parents actually helped me with this one. I got to see Vandy and Marquette play. The NCAA tournament back then was only a 16-team field. Dunking was illegal. Bo Ellis dunked, and I was there and saw it. Thank you.
So really? Dunking in the game, this isn't before the game.
It was basically done because of Lou Alcindor, a.k.a. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah. So they took the dunk out of college basketball for a while, which was stupid.
That sounds ridiculous. Anyway, so Tennessee gets a big win last night. They've got Alabama Saturday night. Game day will be there, so that'll be rowdy.
Big time.
Speaking of Alabama, they got a big one last night. Maybe not a big one, but they did go on the road and beat Ole Miss 103-88. They put up 100 points for the 9th time this season. That ties an SEC record set by Kentucky back in 1996. They've got 20 games in back-to-back seasons for the first time since 2011. So I don't think we need to forget what Nate Oates is doing there. This isn't his best team he's had. Last year, probably easily the best team he's had at Alabama, but they're still a 20-win team, and they got a chance to win the SEC on Saturday night. So
let me ask you this, though. Does it not feel like when you play Bama, you go man-to-man and you stop these wide-open threes?
Yeah. Well,
I don't know, man. They can score, man. It's unbelievable watching those guys. It's unbelievable. That Sears kid's pretty good too. I mean, if Dalton Knecht doesn't get it, I mean, obviously, the kid at Kentucky, that's what Taylor said. But I mean, that Sears kid's good too. He should be in the talks too.
Yeah, let me ask you. I mean, George, Saturday night, whoever wins that, Sears or Knecht, is that your player of the year? I think Knecht already.
I think Connect's won it.
I think he's already locked it up. But I did hear somebody this morning say whoever wins that is your SEC player of the year. I don't know that I agree with that.
Look, Sears has had a good year. Nobody wants to take anything away from him. Dalton Knecht is a stud, period.
Yeah.
And, he's smart too. He's not just he took 21 shots last night. It's not like he was Kobe and, put up 40, 50 shots. And so Knecht keeps rolling. We got kind of a random comment. James said, I met Kelly's mom at the Lincoln County Courthouse. Classy lady.
I don't know where we go with that one.
Yeah.
I think probably we should go to the commercial. Give me one or two more notes really quick.
Let's see here. South Carolina beat Texas A&M 70-68. Looks like the Aggies are going to have to win the SEC tournament now to make the NCAA
tournament. I can't
tournament.
figure them out.
Yeah, Florida beat Missouri 83-74. Last night as well. So Missouri is now 0-15, I think.
Congratulations.
So congrats to them. Caitlin Clark passed Lynette Woodard for the major college record. So that was part of the trivia question. Iowa put up 108 points over Minnesota. She's now got 3,650 career points.
So, and I'll tell you what, they're not all layups. She hits half of them from
she's about to take over Pete. She's about to take over Pete Maravich, too, now.
Crazy.
I know it's a different sport. I mean, I get it. I get it's men's against women's, but she's about to overtake him as well.
Yeah. Also, lastly here, college football piece. The future of the college football playoff contract after the 2025 season is still uncertain, with Bill Hancock coming out saying last week there's a need for the deal to be done in the next month. But according to ESPN, there's optimism and momentum for a 14-team playoff starting in 2026.
You know, I saw that last night. If you're going to go to 14, why not go to 16 and be done with it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's coming. I mean, starting in 2026, ESPN will spend an average of $1.3 billion on the playoff for 6 seasons. So the TV deal is already in effect.
Yes, and your cable bill will go up.
Yeah, but the SEC and the Big Ten would receive 3 automatic bids, with 2 each for the ACC and the Big 12, which I think is interesting. You already, it's no secret the SEC and the Big Ten are the 2 power conferences. I did think that was interesting. And 1 for the group of 5 conferences, and then 3 at-larges.
Okay.
In that 16-team playoff.
Update done.
Preds host Minnesota tonight.
Big game.
Big game.
7 in a row. Never thought I'd say that.
It's not going to be easy.
After the break, we will go down to Austin, Texas. As a lot of you know, the Nashville Cats Arena Football League team is about a month and a half away from its first game. We will meet their quarterback, who I'm a big fan of because I watched him a lot in college. Charlie Brewer, Baylor Bear, will join us after the break.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donley Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donley have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256 7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House for all your personalization and recognition needs. Welcome back into the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. We send it down to beautiful Austin, Texas, where former Baylor quarterback Charlie Brewer joins us to talk a little arena football and who knows what else. He will be the Nashville Cats quarterback when their season starts in mid to late April. Charlie, how are you?
I'm good. How are y'all doing?
Good. Thanks for coming on with us.
Of course. Appreciate you having me on.
So when I think, because I probably saw you 4 or 5 different times in your college days, in particular at Baylor, and the one thing I came away from was this is one tough son of a gun. You were not afraid to take a hit, and if anybody remembers the Sugar Bowl game, Baylor, Georgia, you took a nasty hit in that game. Was that always kind of a style of yours that, you know, you were going to let it fly?
I think so. Growing up, I had an older brother that was 6 years older. So, you know how that is. I was always wanting to play in the front yard with them and, be a part of that group. So, at a young age, I had no choice but to, I was the smaller one. So, kind of got beat up a little bit and think that, kind of took that into my game once I got into high school and college.
Kind of take us through the whole process. After Baylor, there was a year at Liberty, and then talk me through from that into the pro football experience, because I think I read you've been in the Canadian Football League as well.
Yes, I was at Liberty for a year. Unfortunately, got hurt the first game, so I missed the season there. But went up to Ottawa just very briefly, and then kind of been figuring out my next step from there. Been living and working in Austin and, training.
So talk to me about what you know Arena Football League-wise, and what are – obviously it's football, and a lot of the skills from outdoor football, are what a quarterback needs. But talk to me a little bit about what does a quarterback need in arena football?
I think timing and accuracy are probably the two things that you got to be able to do. And I think that is, whether it's arena, college, high school, NFL, whatever it is, I think to play quarterback at a successful high level, you got to be on time and be accurate.
And so you go from the Canadian Football League, where it's a 110-yard field and feels when you watch it like it's incredibly wide, to the arena thing where it's a much tighter window. And you're right, the accuracy is critical.
Absolutely, yes. It'll be good to get up there and start practicing. Try to start when I throw, taking that into account of kind of the spacing on the field. But, like you said, I think the best attribute for a quarterback is accuracy.
How did the Cats thing happen?
Kind of happened out of nowhere a little bit. I can't remember exactly when, but pretty recently. Got on the phone with Adam and kind of went from there. And, I'm happy it ended up the way it did.
Okay, let me bring former NFL quarterback, as I mentioned to you earlier, Kelly Holcomb, to the scene here. So, Kelly, you never played arena football, but give him all your words of wisdom.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, man. Who was your coach at Baylor? Was it Coach Rule?
Yes, Coach Matt Rule. Yes.
How about was Frisman Jackson y'all's wide receiver coach?
He was.
Frizz, I played with Frizz in Cleveland, man. Frizz is a good dude. He's at the Pittsburgh Steelers now.
Yes, he was think my two years he was there with me.
Yeah, Frisch is a good dude, man. How was the adjustment? I know you said you only stayed up there for a year or a little while, but how was the adjustment getting used to the Canadian style of football? Because you're gonna have to get used to the Arena League, but how much different was it than just regular football?
Well, I was at Liberty for a year, and then in the CFL I was only there for very brief. Wasn't even there for the season, but I was there for practices and stuff. And it definitely is different, right? It's very wide, right? So when you know how it is when you're throwing some sort of out route to the field or something like that, it's a much further throw.
Yeah, so I was looking at your bio, man. How in the world did you throw 107 touchdowns at Lake Travis, man? That's crazy, dude. Like, did y'all throw the ball every time in high school?
No, no, we didn't. But I think part of that would be my junior year and senior year, we made it to the state championship. So that gives you quite a few more games to put up stats.
Yeah, well, I know you want to keep playing football. Obviously, I was afforded that opportunity, man. I had to go play in the World League of American Football, which you don't even know what that is. It was back.
Oh,
It was the
give him
NFL.
the teams.
Well, it was the NFL Europe. I mean, I played for the Barcelona Dragons. We had the London Monarchs, the Ryan Fire, the Frankfurt Galaxy.
Don't forget the Scottish Claymores.
Scottish Claymores,
Yeah.
the Scottish Claymores. So it was cool for me to keep playing, but obviously your overall goal is to make it to the NFL. But you got to still, you got to keep playing football. And the biggest guy that made it from the Arena League obviously is Kurt Warner. He went to, he was a part of the Iowa Barnstormers a long time ago, and then the rest is history. So, what are you looking to accomplish in this arena deal? Because you're coming to a great city. Nashville's a great place. I don't know, I've been to Austin before. I played at the golf course down there a long time ago, but Nashville's a great city. But what is your goals? What are you looking to accomplish? You want to keep playing football, obviously.
Yes, and you're saying for the Arena League goals?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Well, my goal would be to win every game, right? I think that's why you play. I definitely want to come to Nashville to win, and that would be my main goal, is to win. Be a good teammate, and kind of get my career back on track.
I got you. What about? I was looking also. Your dad, your granddad, your uncle all played at the University of Texas. Man, was that a little bit of pressure on you?
No, they were all great. It was great growing up in a family that has a football background. So, as you can assume, probably growing up, there was a lot of front yard football games and stuff like that. But it was great with my grandpa, uncle, dad, my brother, a lot of people that have played quarterback. So, no, I think it was great just getting to, learn from little things from each of them.
Right. What kind of wisdom did they give you throughout your playing days? I mean, because I played with Peyton when he was in Indianapolis, and obviously his dad played in the National Football League. And what kind of advice did they give you early on in your career?
Well, I think with my dad, he never was like super like you got to play football, nothing like that. But obviously, I took a liking to it, and so I think his advice was just like, whatever you do, there needs to be a certain work ethic, a certain standard that you set, and you need to be a good teammate and set a good example and work really hard. Is what I would say.
I got you. Now, I'm not even sure you've thought about this, but I ask. It seems like I ask everybody, and George and Billy know where I'm going with this. But give me your opinion of the landscape of college football. I mean, you've only been out for a little bit, but it's changed so much in the short time that you've been out with all this NIL, with all this transfer portal. What do you think about all that? Give me your opinion on it.
NIL, I think it's good for. I wish it would have been there when I was a baby.
Knew that was coming.
But I think it's good because I think guys. I don't know all the details about it, but I think it's good for some guys to be compensated for sure.
What do you think about the transfer portal? You like it? I mean, I understand the NIL deal because when I was playing, I always say this, the NIL is okay. I mean, when you start paying a guy $2 million in college, so I'm a little bit off on that, but the transfer deal is where I'm not a big fan of. I mean, we had guys when I played, of course, I played a long time ago, and there were guys that transferred in, but now, when you transferred way back when, it was kind of an act of Congress just to transfer. Now you can transfer to any school. You have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's situation's a little different. I get kind of both sides of the argument. Because on one end, you have some coaches that'll get up and leave where a guy went to play for him. So I can see that type of thing where a guy wants to leave and go play somewhere else. But I mean, I guess my stance would be that, if coaches can kind of just get up and leave, then, I think a player probably could too.
I got you. So this will be my last thing. So just take an evaluation of yourself, man. What do you think your strengths are? Give me some of your weaknesses that you need to work on.
Well, weakness, I would say, I just haven't had a ton of reps recently. So, I think that I need to, have a good camp, have good practice, kind of get back in a rhythm, would be something that, I definitely need to do. And then some of my strengths would be, I think I'm accurate, and kind of the toughness and swagger that I play with a little bit.
Billy?
Charlie, I appreciate you taking the time. Take me back to the Texas Bowl. I forget the actual year against Vanderbilt. Of course, us in Nashville, there was a lot of excitement about that game. Y'all beat Vandy 45-38. You had almost 500 total yards, 384 yards through the air. And that was a really fun game to watch. I know you remember Keyshawn Vaughn just going off for Vanderbilt too. What do you remember most about that game? Because that was kind of my first introduction to you and your game and kind of your style of play.
Yeah, I was thinking, man, this running back may run for about 500 yards. That guy had an incredible game. That game was, that was great bowl game. Very high scoring. It was definitely probably good for the viewer, and it was a fun game to be a part of. Kind of seemed like both sides couldn't stop each other, and ended up. I can't exactly remember how it ended, but I think that
y'all actually got to stop.
Yeah, we scored kind of with like a minute or two left, and then got a quick stop and ended it there. But that was a great game and a great team we played for sure.
I want to say, I'm not sure if Denzel Mims was on that team. Okay, we got a question from a viewer. Is Denzel Mims available to join you in Nashville as one of your receivers? I'm not sure what he's doing right now, if he tried to get in the NFL or what.
I think he might be on a practice squad right now.
Okay.
But not 100% sure.
Gotcha.
Okay, let's get to the important issues, though. You got a school in Baylor that I never thought of as they're going to win a national title in hoops. And Scott Drew did that 3 years ago. I watched them Saturday. They came within an eyelash of winning in regulation against Houston. How far can Baylor go in the tournament?
To be honest, I don't follow the basketball too much, but Baylor's always had a great basketball team. They were good when I was there. So I'd say they got pretty good odds.
Yeah. Listen, thank you for taking the time to do this. Good luck to your Rangers as they try to repeat. Yes. And just remember that the Braves will be there in October.
We'll see.
Unless they play the Phillies. Charlie, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Nashville Cats quarterback Charlie Brewer joining us on the show. Okay, after the break, all of you've been hearing it for the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's Drake May, it's Jaden Daniels, it's Caleb Williams. In what order, who knows? But we'll get Kelly's opinions on what these teams ought to do that have a chance at one of these 3. Stick around. We're coming back. Hit After Hit has become the baseball store in Tennessee. They have over 1,000 different models of gloves and over 1,500 wood bats. They also have several Iron Mike pitching machines as well as a Hit Tracks machine. If they don't have it, you probably don't need it. We're proud to call Hit After Hit the official shirt provider of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Okay, let's get right into Kelly's wheelhouse. NFL draft, not all that far away. Quarterbacks. And there are three of them right at the top of the list that everybody's talking about. Caleb Williams from Southern Cal, Drake May from North Carolina, and the Heisman Trophy winner, Jaden Daniels from LSU by way of Arizona State to start his career. Kelly, let's start it with this. In your mind, is Caleb Williams a codlock cinch to be the first pick?
Yes. He's really good. I mean, I don't like some of his antics. I mean, I don't like when he paints his fingernails and he says the things that he says on his fingernails. That's a little annoying. I don't like that. But the guy is one of those generational talents. I mean, he's big. He can run. I mean, he's not a guy that can, he can run around you, but he can also run over you. The guy his frame is big. I never had that. The guy can throw the ball from the pocket. He can make plays with his feet. He's very accurate with the football. I didn't like when, they showed, I think they showed him one time. I mean, he's got some things he's got to work on, but he was crying on the sideline as his mom was coddling him during one of the games. I forget which one it was, but other than that, man, I think this guy's really good. I think if you're there at the top, which Chicago is, I mean, you got to make a really big decision if you're Chicago. I mean, this is the fate of your franchise, and if you make a mistake at quarterback, it can mess you up for a long time, as people know. I mean, it's going to mess you up for at least 5 years, and sometimes it's a decade before you can get it turned back around again. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Justin Fields, because if they don't let Justin Fields go and they don't take Caleb Williams and they trade out of that to get more draft picks, like
they could get a haul.
Oh, absolutely, they could get a haul with that, but I just don't think you pass on somebody that's got the talent that he's got, George. I mean, he was a Heisman Trophy winner. I think he elevated his team. His team, they weren't very good last year, but some of the things that he was able to do. Now last year he got into a situation where, well, we can't win if I don't play good, and then he started forcing balls. And once you start doing that as a quarterback, you're going to turn the ball over too much. And that's what he did in those couple of games. But the year before, when he was the Heisman Trophy winner, I mean, he played really, really good. He's got all the tools. I wish I had his tools. But I just don't think you can pass on a guy like Caleb Williams, George. I really don't.
So there's a rumor out that the Falcons are expected to trade for Justin Fields. Now, that hasn't been confirmed by anybody, and I don't think that would surprise a ton of us, but I wanted to get that out there, and I think that further proves the fact that the Bears are probably going to take Williams.
Okay, let's take this a little farther, because Chicago's in an incredible position. Yes. They can get a guy that most of the experts think is can't miss. Who knows if he is? These days, I don't know what can't miss means anymore, because some can't misses miss. Yeah. But if you were to keep Justin Fields, the haul that you get in return could set the Bears up in so many ways. Kelly, when I look at Justin Fields, there's a part of me that says he did as well as you could given the lack of talent around him.
I agree, George, and it's so funny. I mean, I've talked about perception in that league. Everybody, and we used this the other day, like Will Levis. Will Levis was a second-round pick. I don't know how many games he played last year. He looked good in one of them, a couple of them. He was, but he was playing. He didn't have much around him. But everybody's putting him on that pedestal now. And then you got a guy like out in San Francisco, Brock Purdy, who's taken his team to the NFC Championship 2 years in a row. He's been to the Super Bowl, and everybody's still saying, well, can he do it or not? The perception is last year to start the season that Justin Fields was a franchise guy. He was going to be this guy. And then they started off and they started losing. And now he's not the same dude. And it's the same guys that were saying earlier in the year last year that he's the franchise quarterback, and then they turn on it. So it's just funny how perception is. But I think Justin Fields is a good player. You've got to have people around you. There's not many John Elways in the world that can take a team that is okay and just with his pure talent level. I mean, he got those guys to 3 Super Bowls when they probably shouldn't have made it, and they got blown out. And then his last 2, obviously, he got Terrell Davis, and he got some guys on the outside that could do some things to help him, and he won those last 2. But I think Justin Fields is a good player. I really do. I think he's what the new age quarterback looks like. He's a big guy, kind of like Caleb Williams. He can run, kind of like Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams is probably more of a passer, fundamental passer than Justin Fields is. But I think Justin Fields can win games. And I don't know what they're going to do. It wouldn't surprise me if they trade me. It wouldn't surprise me if they keep him. But I just think with a guy that's got this upside to him, that's a big buzzword in the NFL. He's got a lot of upside. I think Caleb Williams has that high ceiling. I think he projects well. Yeah. As Billy said, projects well. I don't even know what that means, but
it means he didn't tell the general manager in the interview to go
blank.
Yeah, like he puts on his fingernails a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that with his talent and with his ability, I I think you've got to make a trade. I think you've got to trade Justin. I think you've got to take him, because if you don't, you're going to be setting yourself up, just in my opinion.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Kelly, I guess that's the question with Williams. Can he do what Elway did and take a franchise, and can he be the one to take them that next step? Fields wasn't able to. I thought Fields got a bad rap.
I don't think it's his fault.
No, I don't think it is. But does that happen to Williams? Do we look back and say, man, he just wasn't in a good spot in Chicago?
If you're asking me to compare the two guys, I would take Caleb Williams every day of the week over Justin Fields. I just would. I mean, I think the guy's really talented. I mean, Justin Fields is a starting quarterback in the National Football League. I understand that. But, like, you're asking me about Caleb Williams, I'm not passing him.
Okay. Let me go second to Jaden Daniels, because there are a bunch of people that have now slid him past Drake May. Right. He won the Heisman Trophy, kind of came out of nowhere in that last season, and certainly in the second half of the season. But there's certainly questions. He's a beanpole. Does that concern you?
I was a beanpole too, so yeah, it does concern me a little bit. But he's got the athletic. I mean, that guy can run too. Now, I mean, when you can take off, and he had like an 80-yard touchdown. I forget who it was against, but
Florida,
like
I think
that kind of put him over the top to win the Heisman Trophy. He's got all the tools as well. The question is what you just said, George. Is he going to be able to stand up with the pressure that because he's going to get hit. You're going to get hit in the National Football League. Can you stay on the field and be productive at his size? I don't know that. I mean, I think he was coached hard by Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly used to get red-faced at him a bunch. If I was him, I'd have wanted to fight Brian Kelly a couple of times because he got up in my face like that. But Coach Donnelly used to do that as well. But I know that he was coached hard. I know that he was coached well. I think he got better from when he transferred there his junior year to his senior year. And obviously he did some incredible things on the field. He beat Alabama. He's a good player. Just the question is, can he maintain that? Can he stay on the field? If you're coming in being the franchise quarterback, can you stay on the field and work yourself through all the adversity that you're going to face with making bad throws, making bad plays? Plus, can you stay on the field and not get hurt at his size? But I do say this. I think he's a really tough guy. I've seen him take some hits, and he's like the Energizer Bunny. I told somebody he's like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps on trucking, man. He just keeps on going. And I think he's a really good player, and I would probably put him too. I used to think Drake May was the other guy, but I think Jaden Daniels, he got himself up to that level, won the Heisman Trophy, played really well, and I think he probably will be the number 2 quarterback.
Yeah, he has a chance to buck a trend of guys at his stature.
Heisman.
Yeah, the Heisman, I mean, everybody likes him. There's not a ton of negative things to get to with him, but I think the big kind of glaring thing in the background is his stature. And, is he able? Maybe he has a good year or two, like a really good year or two, but then, year 2, for example, to close out the season, he just gets clocked by Bosa or something, and he's just done. I mean, it kind of reminds me of an RG3 type that, now he could get bigger too. I mean, we don't, he's tough too, like you said, Kelly, but I'm really interested to see, can he hold up? Because if he can, who knows? He could be better than Williams.
Well, okay,
George, I think he's a better thrower than RG3 was, though. Like, I think RG3, when he got to the National Football League, I think he took off running. I mean, I always use Russell Wilson as this. Like, Russell Wilson is a pocket passer, but if you give him the opportunity to move around and scramble, he takes that. I think Jaden Daniels is like that. I think RG3 was different. When RG3 got into trouble, instead of just sliding maybe a step to the left or a step to the right to deliver the football, he would take off running. And I don't think Jaden Daniels is that guy. I mean, I think he's more of a passer first, and then if he gets the opportunity to run, he'll do that.
Okay, if you're Washington, and again, I'm not going to judge Sam Howell based on that loony bin he played in a year ago.
Right.
Are we throwing Sam Howell out with the bathwater? I think the answer is yes.
Do they have to? I mean,
no, they don't have to, but it sounds like they are.
No, but if you draft Jaden Daniels or the May kid at the number 2 slot, yeah, you're done. I mean, that's just part of it. Now, Kirk Cousins had the same thing. He got drafted. They both got drafted in the same year, RG3 and Kirk Cousins. And then RG3 couldn't come. He couldn't make it through the season without getting hurt. Kirk Cousins stepped in. Then Kirk Cousins started playing and then everybody's like, this dude's pretty good. And Kirk Cousins is still playing to this day. So it could be one of those situations like that. But if you're taking a guy at number 2, that high of a draft pick, I mean, there might be a little competition going on, but I don't know. And it depends on if they think Sam Howell can get them through something until this guy gets some experience. I don't know. But if you're getting drafted that high, you're more than likely going to play.
Well, and I think what you're telling Sam Howell is, look, we like Daniels a lot. We like this kid we just drafted, but, we've got this injury concern. We don't love our offensive line. You might play this year. There's a good chance you're going to play, and we may need you. So I think if you're the Commanders, you kind of try to sell him, and it may not be the easiest sell.
Yeah, good luck.
Howell might say, screw that. But I don't know. If I'm Howell, be smart about it. You'll probably play. I mean, there's a good shot. I don't know how good the Commanders' O-line is, but if you're Howell, you're probably going to play.
As my man Tom Moore used to tell me all the time, and y'all are going to get it. Tom Moore used to say, you can stay in this league for a long time if you just keep your mouth shut and do your job. That's what Sam Howell needs to do. Just keep your mouth shut, do your job. I mean, if they want you to play, play. If they don't, when the opportunity presents itself and he gets hurt, go in and show yourself.
For the record, Kelly didn't keep his mouth shut and played for a long time.
Kelly,
well, you know what? My last couple of years, I didn't keep my mouth shut. Now, before that, I did keep my mouth shut. But the last couple of years, I could have played for 2 or 3 more years. But, after I got bad-mouthed by the coach and me and him had some altercations, that didn't work out so well for the old Kelster.
Okay, let's get to Drake May. The guy hadn't played any football in the last 2 months, whatever. But in the last month, man, he must have gotten stupid because all I hear is all the things he can't do. And
Mitch Trubisky.
And I mean, really? The Drake May I saw was pretty doggone good.
Yeah.
Hey, he's not Mitch Trubisky. When Mitch Trubisky got drafted, I told somebody, and here's the deal. I y'all know that I'm not going to be harsh on quarterbacks, but I didn't think Mitch Trubisky coming out of college, he had done nothing. Like, he could throw the ball through a wall, but what has he done?
Upside.
This guy right here can play now. Drake May can play. I watched him. I watched him take lick. I watched him. The mark of a quarterback, and I've told y'all this before. The mark of a quarterback is knowing that the middle linebacker has just come through the A gap and he hasn't been blocked. What am I going to do? Am I going to stare him down and I'm going to see that seam route that he left? Am I going to stay in there and get my nose busted and brought off my feet after I throw the football and make the throw, or am I not? When I saw him do that a couple of times, I told my son, I'm like, that dude right there can play football. He is a good player, and he's scary. People don't think he's athletic, but he can make things happen with his feet. Mm-hmm. He's a bigger guy. He doesn't have the frame like Jaden Daniels. He's a big old boy, and he can make things happen. And if he goes to New England, they've got themselves a player, because Drake May is a player, and I can see him. I can see him playing for a long time in the National Football League, because the dude can play, and he's got skills. He's very accurate with the football. He looks like he's very heady on the football field, and that's what you want as a coach. You want to be able to trust him, and that's what you got in that guy.
And the biggest thing for him is if he does go to New England, he's not going to be coached by Joe Judge and Matt Patricia like Mac Jones was. I mean, this guy, he's going to have a great OC and Ben McAdoo. Actually, I don't know if McAdoo's their OC. I know he's on that offensive staff who I think coached Eli Manning in New York, 17 years of experience. He's walking into a lot better situation then Mac Jones sort of got screwed with, and his career could be over. So I think you got to look at that too.
By the way, I'm not buying that. Mac Jones is a tough kid. He's going to end up somewhere and prove some people wrong.
And I hope he does, and I'm not saying his career is over, but that put a damper on it. I mean, for about 2 years, he was handcuffed by Joe Judge and pencil man Matt Patricia.
Yes.
Neither of whom knew. Why y'all hating on Matt Patricia, man?
Because he's got a medicine stuck in his ear.
He's a defensive coach. And Joe Judge had about 2 years of experience.
I mean, Kelly, let me ask this question. When you think of the great offensive minds, Bill Walsh and you know, these
Kelly,
type of
you're
people.
You're taking on water.
Do you think of Matt Patricia?
It ain't about the X's and O's. It's about the Jimmies and Joes. And Matt Patricia had no Jimmies and Joes, dog.
The Jimmies and Joes had no coach.
Yeah,
correct. I mean, I agree. I agree with you. I mean, I agree. I tend to agree with you on that.
I thought you did. You just seemed to want to pick a fight.
I did. I just wanted to pick, man.
Right. Okay. So that's our evaluation for now, which is in some order. These three are going to go 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Captain Obvious, for that information. After the break, we'll go stat of the day. Ugh. And then Coach Ron Bargatze will join us to talk about that heavyweight title fight last night in Knoxville. Auburn Tigers, Tennessee Vols. It was some game.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
You know, starting to save for your future doesn't have to be difficult. Let Wilson Bank and Trust help tone up your financial goals this year. Our certificates of deposits or CDs can help your money work harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
Top of the hour on a Thursday, getting ready to talk some hoops with Coach B. But first, stat of the day, brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards. You can find them out in Shelbyville. They're open during the week, Tuesday through Friday from noon to 5, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call, 931-492-4304. All right, we're going college hoops, and
we're going to get this one.
Might be able to get this one.
Yeah, we're going to.
Dalton Knecht now has 4 games this season with 35-plus points and is tied for 4th most 35-point games in Tennessee history with what player?
Okay, I mean, it would be easy to blurt out Bernard King.
Yep.
It would be somewhat easy to blurt out, as John Ward would have said, Ernest Grunfeld. You could have Allen Houston.
Allen Houston, yes.
If you went way back, you could go maybe Ron Whidbey. Let's get Coach B to pick the deciding vote. Hello, Coach B.
Good afternoon, and certainly not Ron Whidbey, but
okay,
that is reaching back.
Yeah, it is.
But what about Dale Ellis?
Oh, God, I never.
Yeah.
How could I?
Yeah, Dale Ellis is one of them, too.
Are you going Dale Ellis?
Well, I'd go Bernard King and then Dale Ellis.
I'd go Bernard King.
Lay it out there, Billy.
Tony White.
Tony White.
Wow. One of the all-time great shooters.
Wow.
The Wizard, they called him.
Wow.
Wow, yeah. Wow.
Coach B, that is a big old wow.
Yeah, that's not surprised that it came up, but Tony, those guards, they kind of fade off a little bit, particularly in that group of alumni that Tennessee's had.
We welcome all of you to the top of the hour from our digs at the Ford Ice Center in Bellevue. Coach Ron Bargatze, we're going to get him in the picture. There he is, longtime Nashville basketball historian. Did you like that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm guessing you watched Dalton Knecht last night.
Oh, man. You said it was a heavyweight fight. Well, Tennessee had Muhammad Ali in their corner.
Well, and I'm trying to think of a fighter for Auburn. Ernie Shavers? Joe Frazier?
Joe Frazier?
I want to say Elijah Lamalatum to Alamoanis D. Mohammed. Thank you.
Not bad.
Not bad, was it? I'm pretty. I'm a bad man. That's what he used to say. And Cosell, it would drive him crazy. Cosell, all right, Mohammed. Coach B, let's go back to last night. Jimmy Dykes threw out the possibility that this guy is the number 1 pick in the draft. Is that realistic?
First college player taken.
First college player?
College player.
Okay.
He said the number 1 pick.
I think he said he'll be the first college player taken.
Said the first pick of the draft is what he said. Look it up.
I mean, he might have said that, but with all these international guys and high school, whatever kids coming out now.
Okay, whatever the case, Coach B, where does he go in the draft?
Oh, I don't think there's any question he's a top 10 guy, maybe higher than, maybe in the upper part of that, because he does something. He's got great 3-point range. He finishes at the basket strongly, and he has an eye for the spectacular in big moments. And last night was a big moment because they were behind in that game and they really had to step up, and he was the guy to do it.
So, Coach B, let me kind of go through, and I know this is a fine line, and this is why I want to talk to you about it, having coached the game. Last night, they needed all of it to beat Auburn. And Auburn feels like a team that could get on another one of those runs in March and do some amazing things. Did you feel the rest of that team was standing around at all, waiting on Dalton Knecht?
Well, it seemed like for the past 3 or 4, 5 games that they have all stepped in and done their job. They did not have quite the balance that they have been having recently, and but Dalton Knecht at a very critical part of the game shifted gears and took the game over.
Okay, let me try it this way. Talk to me about, when they get in the NCAA tournament, it's not to try to win a game or two. Their goal is to win it all. Now, whether they get anywhere close to that or not, who knows? But people are going to look at a lot of film of Dalton Knecht, and they're going to devise a lot of strategies in hopes of slowing him down a little. What's he about to face, and is it anything he hasn't faced already?
Well, James and Vescovi have got to step up their scoring to give Knecht the support he needs, and if they do shut him down some, then both those guys are capable of putting 15 to 20 points on the board. Ziegler is playing free and easy. He's leading the SEC in assists. I think he's a better outside shooter than I remember him last year being. But Adu has got to be productive. They've got, and down in the hole at the 5 position, they've got a three-headed monster down there that can get them a good depth, and they can get things done. But I think that Vescovi has got to step up, and James has got to show his shooting form that he's had occasionally, but not consistently.
Has Vescovi almost given in to Knecht and said, for the good of the team, I'm not going to be as offensive oriented?
Well, he may have looked like that on certain nights, but I think when they get into the tournament that he will step up and he will be a big factor for any success they have.
Okay, you know what's coming Saturday night. It basically is the showdown for the SEC regular season title in Tuscaloosa, where Alabama has been really, really good. Has Tennessee got enough to go down there and win?
They have got to get more balance and higher numbers from across the board to do that. Now, they've got, Gainey can come off the bench and give them some instant offense, but he's the one guy that's not in the main picture who can offset a barrage and Knecht being guarded heavily and not being as productive. But I still go back to James and Vescovi being the 2 guys that have got to get it done.
In the background, trying to get in.
The mailman.
Yeah, that's Alabama coach Nate Oates trying to get in. Coach B, when I watch Alabama, it's obviously such a 3-point heavy offense. But it seems to me there are teams out there, and I think Tennessee might be one of them, that can flat out guard the crap out of them and put a stop to a lot of it. I don't see Alabama going deep in the tournament because there are too many teams that can guard what they do.
Well, if Sears is having a really good night, he really opens up some easier shots for his teammates, and he's really an explosive guy himself. But Alabama, they fetch it and then they fire it up and then they go fetch it because they get a lot of long rebounds on missed threes. They keep coming at you off the bench. So they're an awfully good team. And this is going to be the best test that we've seen for Tennessee in a little while because the spotlight is on. They're playing for number 1 seed. But basically having a number 1 or number 2 seed are pretty much the same. Yeah,
and Alabama, coach, is all analytics. I always wonder why, they don't get many mid-range jump shots up, but I was listening to Nate Oates talk, and he said that the 3-point shot, it's a better percentage. You hit that's 3. You hit a jumper, that's 2. And he basically said the more of those you get up, the more you're going to make, especially if you have a good shooting team. What do you think about that style, and can they make a deep run in March with that?
Philosophically, they're very much like Rick Bird's best teams were at Belmont. They do work really hard to stay behind the line on those perimeter shots and get offensive rebounds and take it down to the block when they can. So the block and 3-point shots are really what coaches are looking for. And Alabama, shows they're strongest at doing that.
Okay, let's look at what's going on right now in the SEC. There are 7 teams right now with winning conference records. There are the 7. Lenardi has bagged A&M. I think he had them as the last team out or whatever. Ole Miss, they've kicked to the curb. So right now, these are the 7. Coach B, it feels to me like South Carolina's found a second wind.
They have. They had the little dip in there and lost a couple, but they've got a nice team. They have got such physically strong players. They'll beat you up in the paint, or they can make threes. And I like their team. I think that Lamont Paris has done an awesome job, and I think Rick Barnes is definitely coach of the year. But I think Lamont Paris is right behind him.
Let's hopscotch to Kentucky for a minute, because I had a Kentucky fan tell me earlier today, and I'm not sure I disagree. The Mississippi State win a couple of nights ago was bigger than the Alabama win last Saturday.
Yeah, that was huge because Kentucky, they've got a lot of firepower in there. They turned the ball over a little bit too much, and their defense is somewhat suspect. But nobody really wants to play them because they are Kentucky, and that blue and white uniform means a lot. And I think that even when they've been down this year, Coach Calipari has not really given up, not really thrown in the towel at all. He keeps giving them leeway. He keeps pushing them, and the expectations are high. Kentucky's going to be a dangerous team, can be a dangerous team in the tournament.
Okay, let's flip it around. Nobody's dying to play Kentucky because on certain nights, it's scary what they bring to the table. But give me a team come tournament time that Kentucky absolutely does not want to see.
UConn. That was a really hard question.
Well, okay, but you know what I mean. There used to be, you'd have these high-flying teams that score a lot, and you would have you don't want to get them matched up with Temple, with John Chaney, and that zone they would play. Is there a team like that out there who maybe isn't UConn with, 1 or 2 ranking that has a style that would give Kentucky a lot of trouble?
Well, Kentucky, there's no Shebway there, and their inside guys are going to have to fetch those missed threes. And the Dillingham and Reeves and even Shepard are going to really put a lot of pressure on people from the perimeter. It would be a pretty scary team to try to zone because of the fact that those guys can all knock them down there. And I think Kentucky is really kind of the dark horse, and possibly Florida, because Florida has shown me a lot of stuff down the stretch here. And Todd Golden has got those guys playing together. His system is in now. They've got nice depth. And we saw an old Belmont guy get 21 points last week in a big win they had. So Will Richard is really a nice player. They have some really good interchangeable parts on the perimeter. They got some depth inside. And I think Todd Golden has done a great job building that program back.
Are they ahead of schedule?
I think so. I think they are. And he's been able to do it with a couple of transfers, and he's been able to do it with, they got some guys that can – they got about 4 guys who can get 20 points on you in a hurry. So I like their team. I think Florida's built to do a better job in the tournament than South Carolina is.
We had somebody in the chat room say Houston and Iowa State have defenses that can slow down Kentucky. I think Houston, they'd be tough for anybody.
Yeah. That Iowa State punch.
Hard. They're really hard-nosed.
Coach B, I've thrown out this load of bull, and right now I'm not sure it's going to play out the way I thought it would, that either Mississippi State, A&M, or Ole Miss would end up in Dayton in the play-in game. But from the looks of things, State has played themselves well past that, and A&M and Ole Miss may not even sniff it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I agree with that. I think they've their mediocrity has kind of risen here in the last couple of weeks. But Ole Miss is strong, and Toulouse Smith can really create a lot of damage in there. He's a great shooter, nice player, and I just like the way their system seems to be more in place than Ole Miss's system, or maybe even Ole Miss and LSU has kind of come on pretty strong here. They've had some nice wins. They were dismal early on, but McMahon has done a nice job of hanging with them. And there's an old guy named Howard Wright that's been an excellent player for them. Where's he from?
Jordan Wright from Vandy.
Now, there was a Howard Wright, Coach B, that played at LSU, wasn't there?
There was a Howard Wright that played for Austin Peay.
Well, that may be where you're going. You're having flashbacks. So that group of 7 right there, who makes the deepest run?
Oh, it would be hard to look past Tennessee and Kentucky. But I would say Florida might be a surprise team come tournament time. Auburn's kind of an odd team. They're kind of nondescript. They can be so good at times, and then they can go off the rails pretty quickly. But I kind of like Florida as a dark horse. But Auburn and Bruce Pearl is relentless. He's not going to. They're going to give you a good effort every time. And I think they've gotten a little bit used to having the best home crowd I've ever seen at Auburn.
Oh, my God. No kidding. Okay, we'll go to the break, and then Kelly and Coach B will go at it. Round 2 of college basketball on a Thursday. Thanks for being with us. We're coming back after this.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donley Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donley have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
The George Plaster Show is Nashville's best sports talk, 2 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. There's a podcast version available on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs.
Where will Kelly Holcomb go with Coach B?
Well, here's what I'm going to say, Coach B. I just text Billy, and this is the second time that this has happened, and George is going to bring it up from here on out. But George took every question I've got, so the forum is open for you. You just want to talk, Coach?
Hey, Coach B, before you two go at it, I got the team Bama doesn't want to play.
Indiana State.
Baylor.
Oh, that's a good one.
Baylor.
Baylor will D up.
So, Coach, go ahead. Sorry. You talk.
I said, nobody wants to play Drake or Indiana State out of the Missouri Valley. Two really good teams, well coached, and the old Belmont Bruins have had a nice little run here since they got Jacoby Gillespie back.
I'm sure the people in Murray appreciated that.
I'll ask you that here shortly, but I think they got, is there 3 games left in the SEC conference play? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
3 games. So UT's got to play Alabama this weekend. They got to play South Carolina, and they got to play Kentucky. Am I correct? So they had a big one last night with Auburn. So if they go 3-0 with these next games, I mean, are they a lock to have a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament no matter what happens in the SEC tournament, you think?
I actually believe that. I mean, what tougher finish to the season could you have than having to play the game they had last night and those 3 you just mentioned? It's really a tough finish for them.
What was I going to say?
Well, Kelly, hold on. With this one addendum, Carolina beat Tennessee head-to-head.
Correct. So what? How does that figure in, Coach? What do you think with that? I mean,
head-to-head, I think it means it's kind of tips the scale a little bit. But look around college basketball, and you've seen some really great teams, great programs, very, very good teams that have had head-scratching losses. And so I think that's the story of college basketball now.
What about so last night, we're all kind of enamored. I watched the game last night. I was kind of enamored with Dalton Knecht. Do you think that he sealed being the most valuable player for the SEC this year, or the Reeves kid's really good at Kentucky? That's who Taylor thinks might get it. He could get it, obviously, but do you think he probably sealed that last night with the way he played against Auburn?
That was a huge step forward to be named the MVP in the league or player of the year, whichever. But everybody seems to think it's between Sears, Reeves, and Knecht. And I don't see how you can vote against Knecht. He's had such great games at the right time and just gives Tennessee that edge over the other teams, and that's why they're first place in the league. Now, how he does in these final 3, we'll see. South Carolina really will do a good job defensively against him, whether or not he has a big night or not, because they'll put a lot of pressure on him.
If you're coaching
with
him,
the voter, hey Kelly, he'll connect with the voters. Thank you.
If you're coaching against him, Coach B, what do you do? What do you tell your squad? How are you going to defend him?
I think you got to make him beat you from deep, and he can. But he can have those spells like any other 3-point shooter, and go a little bit dark on you. But I think that you can't let him take the ball to the basket and finish like he dunks and drawing fouls and the old-fashioned 3-point plays. But that's the story for him. He's been able to give you those big nights and big games, and but I would have to make him make threes if I had to take one thing away from him.
What did you think about last night with that? Auburn's going to be there too. Auburn's a really good basketball team. Like George said, it was a heavyweight fight. Bruce Pearl's a really good coach. Those guys play defense, and I was shocked at what Dalton Knecht was doing at the end of the game. But what do you think about the Brown kid for Auburn? What I mean, he kind of took. He's just smaller than Adu, but he got Adu in foul trouble, and he was just scoring at will when he got the ball. What are your thoughts on him?
Johnny Broom.
Yeah, Johnny Brown. Yeah, it's a Broom or Broom. Yeah.
He's a transfer from Morehead State.
Right.
Outstanding OVC player, but and also a very good player in the league. He's up there and high on the charts in rebounding. He gives them a real plus inside. I don't know. I think that South Carolina is going to be the spoiler down the stretch. And I think Tennessee's got to be very, very careful of them. That game's they've already played at South Carolina, right?
No, that game is at South Carolina beat Tennessee in Knoxville.
Knoxville, yeah.
This one is in Columbia.
Wow. I think that going to Columbia and beating South Carolina is going to be the toughest job they have the rest of the way.
Isn't that amazing? Because nobody was talking about South Carolina at the beginning of the year, and everybody thought, they got up to such a hot start, and they had kind of a lull, and then everybody was saying, well, this is the South Carolina we thought they were going to be, and then they picked it up again. They're not going away.
Well, Lamont Paris did a great job at UT Chattanooga. Yes. Excellent job. And I love the way he handles his players. Coming in, you get a guy coming out of a game, the coach is going to take him out sometimes for a mistake, sometimes just to catch his breath or whatever. But he has such a rapport with his players, and they react to him in a very, very positive way. I think that this time of year, players and coaches can get sideways with each other pretty easily with the wear and tear of the season and what have you. But I think Paris has done an awesome job there. And so I think that's going to be Tennessee's toughest game of the final three.
Give us a rundown of the some of the teams around Nashville. I know that you talked about it. Belmont had a big win last night against Murray State, and it seems like Lenny Acuff's got his teams. I mean, he had a huge injury. He had 2 huge injuries this year, but they won some big games. And give us a little bit about Trevecca.
Well, I will. Trevecca's had their first winning season in several years now, and Kevin Carroll, an assistant at Lipscomb, came there. He's been a head coach at Maryville College in St. Louis, and did a phenomenal job in making as many adjustments as you can make on a tight budget. But he changed the whole culture of their basketball program. Great job by Kevin at Trevecca. Belmont has Casey Alexander. Lipscomb has Lenny Acuff. You can't find any better coaches than those 2 guys anywhere on any level. Either one of those guys at a bigger school would be very, very successful just by the way they go about it and the experience they've had. Two really, really good coaches. Casey has got, I guess Lenny's about 10 years older than Casey, but did such a good job for a long time at Berry and at University of Alabama, Huntsville. And Lenny and Casey, anybody wants to get them on a high level, get them somebody that's going to win for them, take one of those 2 guys.
So this will be my last one, but y'all were talking about analytics earlier, and I'm not a huge analytics guy, But I will say this: when y'all were talking about that my daughter who plays at Lipscomb, they play the team Florida Gulf Coast out of Fort Myers, Florida, and this guy wins the championship every year. But his girls, I mean, they either shoot 3-pointers or they shoot layups, and if they shoot jumpers, he's taking them out of the game. So what kind of coach, if you're coaching nowadays, would you get into analytics like they do, or you're more of a like me, you feel with your gut, not with the numbers?
Oh, I think that at a mid-major school, you can take guys who are overlooked, maybe that filter down to Division I or lower Division II players. But if you watch Indiana State or Drake play, either one, maybe even Bradley, those guys are a nightmare for a lot of the bigger schools around the country. So, but analytics from a standpoint of shooting threes or power shots inside in the paint is a philosophy that a lot of coaches have, just because, as Nate Oates says, if you shoot 30% from 3-point range, that's like shooting 45 from 2-point range, and you can balance that out. Did I get the math right on that, George?
I think you did. It was wonderful. BGA math. So, Coach B.
Who's going to be the first quarterback taken, Coach B?
Oh, I think Caleb Williams by far.
Okay, there you go. He's on my wavelength. Me and Coach B.
I'm surprised that he didn't have more wins in the. Excuse me, that's my phone's got a doorbell ring to it.
Is that Nate Oates calling?
Yeah, he's going to be speaking SEC tournament week here in Nashville at the meeting of Nations of Coaches. Dale Clayton's a part of that group, and he'll have a nice crowd down at Puckett's down, I think, on Church Street. And last year Rick Barnes was there, and you see what that did for him. But Nate Oates is going to be. I'm looking forward to hearing him speak that day.
Why aren't you speaking?
Pardon?
I said, why aren't you speaking?
I'll speak, but only to the person next to me.
Coach B, I got some breaking news on the women's side. Iowa's Caitlin Clark has declared for the WNBA draft.
I'm shocked.
Foregoing her final season of eligibility. There was some talk that she may come back because of an NIL deal. Maybe coming back and maybe making even more than she could have in the WNBA.
So go pro and take a pay cut?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was hoping we'd get through this show without talking about NIL, because to me it's the worst thing that's ever happened. Nick Saban's right. It's no longer college basketball. It's semi-pro or lower-level professional football.
Well, it is.
I was going to ask with her, though. I mean, it feels like she's transcended not only the women's game, but like college basketball in general. I mean, has she kind of outshined like a general sports fan that maybe doesn't watch men's or women's college basketball? It feels like a lot of them are watching now because of her. Just because.
I don't blame her. Their crowds have been phenomenal. Wherever she goes, it's like Pete Maravich when he played at LSU. Every school in the SEC during the Maravich years would make sure they took a picture of their arena the night Pete was in town to show recruits. This is the kind of crowds we have every night. That's what they're telling. But unfortunately, there's only when Pete was in town.
Coach B, I'm going to put my weather hat back on before we end this. I believe that there is a cold pressure system centered right over Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Oh,
something's going on there.
It is. I've never seen a team that had such high expectations, and they're a mess. They play like the coach's dress.
Wow. Okay, let me try it this way. Is there a shot that Eric Musselman is not back there next year?
Oh, you can almost look at Eric Musselman on the sidelines and tell there's a lot of things to not like about the demeanor of the team. They lost some good players last year, but no one thought they would fall to third from last in the league this year.
The other thing I noticed, what has been one of the great fan bases in college basketball, the end zone looks like a Braves game in the 70s.
Yeah, we'll have to. I went to a few of those. That's the only ones I could get a ticket for back in those days.
Back then, the games started when you wanted them to start.
Well, Glenn Hubbard was their best player. So what do you expect?
Well, look, I don't know
Murphy
what.
was there.
Yeah, don't forget him and Bob Horner. Why do I keep hearing, and I know this particular person, why do I keep hearing Louisville with Eric Musselman?
I don't know. I haven't heard that, George, but you're on the cutting edge. You're in the media, so
yeah,
I cannot imagine.
Whoop-de-doo.
I cannot imagine Louisville taking Eric Musselman when they could get some of those Missouri Valley coaches, any number of several of them, instead.
Coach, don't you think this is going to happen? Like I said it yesterday on the show, but like Eric Musselman had that program ascending pretty rapidly. I mean, he's got them deep into the tournament the last couple of years, and then everybody had such high expectations, and then he gets new kids in that's transferred in. I mean, aren't you going to see that more where you get a team that's rising, and then you have to bring these transfers in, the kids don't mix well, and then all of a sudden it implodes? I mean, are we going to see that more with all this stuff going on? We talked about NIL and transfer.
Well, it's the wisdom of the Bible that says a wise man builds his house upon a rock, and that program over there has got sand all under it, and it's coming, going craziness, and so I'm not surprised that they've fallen, but I didn't expect them to fall that far.
Coach B going biblical in his old age.
Yeah, I like it.
Very impressive. Hey, thanks as always.
Been a pleasure, and great seeing you there, Mr. Quarterback.
See you, brother.
Okay, after the break, we'll have Plaster Bet of the Day, and we'll try to explain away a dismal February.
Terrible.
Horrible.
Atrocious.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
You know, starting to save for your future doesn't have to be difficult. Let Wilson Bank and Trust help tone up your financial goals this year. Our certificates of deposits or CDs can help your money work harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Final segment on a Thursday. It's time for Placer's Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give them a call, 615-242-9000, or log on to bartdurham.com. All right, let's check out what happened last night. No bueno. 1-4 record.
Yeah. So let's look through that. Murray State got walloped. Good for Belmont. Great win. Western got beat, although it was close. UAB.
What happened there?
I don't know. I mean, to a bad Wichita State team, and Ole Miss toward the end died on the vine.
They were up by 15 and then ended up losing by 15.
Yeah, well, whatever. Very bitter. That record's got a lot of improving to be done. So, we begin tonight a new era.
Rebuild mode.
The new thought process is that we're going Preds until they lose.
Oh, okay.
This is a big game for both of those teams. Minnesota loses, suddenly they're 8 points behind the Preds for that final playoff spot. This is a must-win for Minnesota. Preds sure could use it. Minnesota has to have it.
Need it.
And we have a second play. Washington State against overrated USC.
Ronnie's there, man. He's getting paid all that money. As you told me. He'll step up and beat the Cougs.
He's getting paid $6 million
to do this.
It's a lot of money.
His dad is the best player in the world.
That has nothing to do with him, though.
Right. USC will do well in the CIT. Because I don't think they're
Who would win,
NCAA.
USC or Vandy right now? I think that might be a decent game.
It depends on who's the home team. I don't know.
George, what are you and Billy hearing from West End over there? Are we hearing anything, or is it quiet?
Crickets.
Quiet at the moment, but let me say this, because I know people wonder where I'm going. Congrats on the win against Arkansas. In my opinion, this issue should have been decided long before this. If 3 conference wins is acceptable to you, great. It's not acceptable to me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think Gentry wrote a piece in the Tennessean saying that, Candace has publicly come out and said that, they're going to try to give him an NIL package in the offseason and, see if they can do this thing. But the problem is, I don't think many donors want to pay up for this product. So that's kind of a big problem.
That's where it comes from, man.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Kelly, you have tomorrow off, right?
I do, yeah.
Yes. Billy, you and I will continue to toil.
Yeah, whatever we do.
Yes.
I know you miss me, Billy. I'm sorry. I just,
Yeah.
It's usually going to see my mother. I've got to do something else tomorrow, and I'll go see my mother on Saturday. But
it's
I'm sorry I can't be with you tomorrow.
No,
Billy.
You're not sorry.
I know you're sweating it, and I know you hate it, but it is what it is.
You're not sorry.
No, I'm not sorry at all.
Don't lie to the audience. See you Monday.
See you.
See all of you tomorrow. Mark Griffin will join us. So will Coach Watson Brown.
Boom.
Good show. See ya.